have limb-girdle muscular dystrophy. It all kind of started after college when my disability started progressing. I graduated from Culinary Institute of Charleston, went there for culinary arts technology, and no one would really hire me in a kitchen downtown because of the stairs, and they considered me as a liability due to my prone to falling. When no one would hire me, I was just at home applying for jobs. My disease really starts progressing when I'm doing nothing. And I've been in high school working in kitchens. I went to culinary arts through my high school as well. So I never really stopped moving until after college. And I became like a hermit basically, and just reached out to Voc Rehab because I didn't know where else to go, what else to do. And I was more looking for gaining that independence so I could be gainfully employed.
When Mr. Palka came to VR, he was looking to change careers. He had recently completed the culinary arts program at Trident Tech and had started his career in culinary arts. But unfortunately, around that same time, his muscular dystrophy started having more severe symptoms where he had difficulty walking and eventually had to utilize a wheelchair for mobility. That did not allow him to work in the kitchen setting and in restaurants, so he came to us for a career change. He was very open and willing to explore different things. He was an excellent candidate for our evaluation center so that he could have a longer vocational assessment and evaluation. So he did enter that program and participated in the 4-week program.
When I first met Andrew, during the first week of his evaluation, I knew from the start that he was someone that was going to be a success. At that point, we didn't know in what, but the way he carried himself, the way he presented himself, the way he communicated with staff, the way he communicated with the other consumers, we knew that success was in Andrew's future. For our consumers that come here for 4 weeks, we put them through a lot of different things. Some things are very easy for them, some things are very difficult. We do some old school paper pencil tests to see what someone's aptitude is. We also do a lot of different types of work samples, where we may do a clerical work sample, we may do something where they're sorting, alphabetizing. We also do a lot of work assessments to try to figure out what individual strengths are and how they learn. So Andrew went through during that whole 4-week period that he was here with us, all different types of assessments to truly figure out what his strengths are and what his interests were. We gave Andrew the opportunity to work in a clerical setting several times while he was here. Some of our work samples, we got him on the computer doing some different things with documents and Excel spreadsheets. From the beginning, we could tell that Andrew had a real passion for that, and he was very talented at doing it already. So while Andrew was here for his assessment, one of the things we started talking to him about was our Information Technology Training Center, where we had different curriculums in the IT career field. One of the classes was our Business Applications Plus class. That class taught skills in Excel, Word, Outlook, customer service, medical terminology, and actually some accounting skills. We talked with Andrew about that after we saw what a phenomenal job he was doing on some of our work samples and computer assessments. And he decided he would absolutely love to do something like that.
From a very young age, I've always been interested in computers, always messed with our family's computers when they first came out in the early 2000s. And so I've always been tech oriented because I spent my whole childhood playing and messing with computers.
I worked with Andrew when he came to the ITTC for our BAP program, our Business Applications Plus program. He was one of our students that when he came in, he lived in our dormitory. He traveled here throughout the week. He would be in classes with us, and he became a real leader in the classroom, I'd have to say, very quickly. Saw his skills were just on point. He just needed to brush up his skills and get them more oriented to office work, because that's not what he was doing in the past. and he just really took to it really fast. The IT Training Center BAT program has certifications throughout the class in Microsoft Office. They learn a lot more than just the Microsoft Office, so those types of classes like our business communication, our business writing, things like that, he was always one of the ones who had very good memos, very good writing skills, and then when it came time for the certification exams, I'm happy to say Andrew's the first person that I ever had a perfect score with. There were 3 certification exams. He got a perfect score on his Microsoft Office Word. He got just under a perfect score on his Excel, and he did great on his Outlook. So all 3 of them, as far as we were concerned, he blew them out of the water. Andrew's customer service while he was at the IT Training Center was one of the things we saw in him. Very personable with everybody in all the classes, because it wasn't just the BAT program that he interacted with. He interacted with all of our other classes too. So he even helped some of them, you know, when they were working on something, had a question or whatever. He had a very calming personality about him. I don't think I ever saw him get upset or angry. And being in a classroom with all different kinds of personalities, all different stress levels because of what they were learning, trust me, staying calm is not always easy. And he was able to do it.
When Andrew was getting ready to go to work for DSS, we were finishing up his modifications on the van, so the timing was perfect. I think there was like a week overlap where he had to find transportation to the job. But once he got on the job, our rehab engineers came in and they provided the full assessment of the job and of the workstation, and they made recommendations of accommodations that could be made.
I first started working with Andrew when we were looking at accessible vehicles and adaptive driving. And Andrew, being a power wheelchair user, it's important to find the right vehicle and the right fit for him in his chair, as well as to find the right driving equipment. And Andrew, because of the nature of his disability, he would be driving from his power chair. So he's at a given seated height, so it's really important to find the right vehicle and the fit. So Andrew's disability is limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, which affects his range of motion and his strength. And the most appropriate adaptive driving equipment for him was high-tech joystick driving controls, which is a much more complex process than just some of the mechanical hand controls that maybe somebody with a less significant disability might use. And so essentially Andrew's using a joystick similar to that in his power chair to drive by wire to operate gas, brake, and steering on his vehicle. And there's also some secondary controls that help him operate things like turn signals and shifting the vehicle and headlights and so on. And having the right accessible vehicle is incredibly important to the employment success equation, because Andrew obviously has to get to work reliably every day, as we all do. But not everybody can just hop in any vehicle and drive it. So the appropriate vehicle with the right high-tech adaptive driving has given Andrew great freedom and independence to succeed at his job, but also in life. And that's one of the cool benefits that come from us providing assistive technology for employment, and the benefits can actually be an improvement to somebody's quality of life and help them enjoy their life fully, not just be successful at their job. Some of the assistive technology items that we recommended for Andrew's work were useful in both the home office as well as the DSS office environment. So we helped by setting Andrew up with a motorized height adjustable desk and an adapted keyboard and mouse and 10-key number pad at both locations. We provided him with a specialty lap tray for his wheelchair that actually was attached to the chair, so it was a mobile work surface for him, so that if he was in the office and not at his desk, he had a work surface. We also helped out with some signage for his accessible parking spot at the rear of the building and a threshold ramp, because there was about a 2-inch step from the rear patio into the building, and that 2-inch step is not friendly to power wheelchair wheels, so we went with a rubber threshold to help him with that. Also helped to accommodate the restroom, a simple modification to the door so that he could pull the door shut within easy reach once he was in the restroom. I've been working in the assistive technology field my entire career, over 25 years, and worked with a lot of people with disabilities. And every so often, you meet somebody that you know just has that special quality about them. And Andrew is young, energetic, very sharp, and very motivated to work and succeed in all things in life. So this was easy, really. We were just giving Andrew the tools he needed to succeed. And it's a small but important part of the equation, because a lot of times with the right assistive technology, we can empower somebody, as in Andrew's case, to do that job as good or better than the next person, but maybe in a little different way through assistive technology and accommodations.
From there, I was able to land the job at DSS. And that's when I really worked there for 2 years and needed my first wheelchair after college. And so I was constantly working with New Motion. The customer service that they offered at that time was awesome. He didn't really treat me as a customer. He treated me like a friend or family member of his. And that really made me want to work for them.
So I met Andrew about 5 years ago. I worked for New Motion, complex wheelchair provider, and we were actually providing him with his first wheelchair. And I'd actually been working on his wheelchair at his workplace a good bit. So I'd kind of gotten to know what he did and kind of how he, performed his job, and just kind of between the two, knowing his personality and knowing how he was in the workplace, we just determined he would probably be a good fit to come work for us. I communicate with his supervisor every day, and she, lets me know how well he's doing. He's picking it up really quickly. He's very, fluent on the phone with his customers and provides a lot of good information to them. Sometimes even kind of referring to his own situation, because most people don't understand when they're speaking to a customer service representative that person might also be in the same situation they're in.
We both decided to give online dating one last shot. And we just hit it off immediately. One of the things that he said on our first date was that confidence is key since he's gotten this new job. Luckily, because of COVID, a benefit is that we both get to work from home at this moment. And so with that, I get to drop in and listen to him have those phone conversations with his customers. And at the end of the day, I get to hear the conversations when he helps those people who are just diagnosed with a disability or just found out they have to be in a wheelchair. Watching him be confident in helping them walk through the process, that one, letting them know they're not alone, that it's going to be okay, and just being able to relate from his experience has really boosted his confidence. He has a sense of purpose that has really bloomed, I think, in the last 3 months. There's not anything he can't do. Once he sets his mind to something, he's golden.
I would like to tell Andrew how proud we are of him. He has such a positive attitude. It doesn't matter what the situation is, and he's had some bumps in the road along the way. He's had situations that many of us would panic about, and he just stays calm and he just does what he needs to do. I would say the sky is the limit for Andrew. With his great personality, he's very bright, positive attitude. I think he can go anywhere he wants to go.
Let me tell you, Andrew, I am so proud of you, and I can't wait to hear of all the great things you do in your jobs.
I really don't think there's anything I can't do. As long as I have people there to help me, like Voc Rehab and my wife, I've just been getting better at life ever since. Don't be afraid to reach out, because that's what I was worried about, that it would eventually be something I didn't wanted, and it was more so taking the first step that was the scariest. Don't be afraid to take that first step. Everyone has an idea of what they want for their future to be, so don't be afraid to shoot your shot.